water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony, but everything changed when a meteorite fell on the Water Nation. This meteorite disrupted the balance of the world and ushered in an era of glaciations. Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. Many years later, a young bender named Kaen emerged from the Fire Nation. Although Kaen is a powerful firebender, he still has much to learn to restore the world's balance. But I believe that Kaen can save the world.
Episode 8, Ice and Fire. As Kaen ventured deeper into the icy wilderness, the biting cold seemed to intensify with each step. The once familiar warmth of his firebending was now his only defense against the relentless chill that surrounded him. The journey had been long and arduous, and though he had faced many challenges, Kaen knew that his greatest trials were still ahead. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the frozen landscape, Kaen noticed something unusual. The air felt different, charged with an energy that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. He paused, scanning the desolate expanse before him, and then he saw it, a figure moving gracefully across the ice. The figure was cloaked in a deep blue robe, their movements fluid and almost ethereal. Kaen's heart quickened. This was no ordinary traveler. This was a waterbender. The figure approached, and as they drew closer, Kaen could see that they were a young woman. Her expression calm but her eyes sharp and observant. She moved with the confidence of someone who was entirely at home in this frozen world. The air around her seemed to shimmer, and Kaen realized with a start that she was bending the very moisture in the air to form a protective barrier of ice around herself. "Who are you?" Kaen called out, his voice echoing in the stillness. The waterbender stopped a few paces away, studying him with an intensity that made Kaen uneasy. "My name is Iera," she replied, her voice clear and steady. "I am from the Northern Water Tribe. And you? You are the firebender who has been stirring up the elements." Kaen stiffened at her words, unsure whether she was friend or foe. "I am Kaen of the Fire Nation. I seek to end this ice age and restore balance to the world." Iera nodded slowly, her gaze never leaving his. "Balance is indeed what we need, but fire alone cannot melt the ice that grips this world. There are forces at play here that you do not yet understand." Kaen frowned, his mind racing. "What do you mean? What forces?" Iera stepped closer, her expression softening slightly. "The Ice Age is not just a natural disaster. It is being fueled by an ancient power, something that was awakened when the meteor struck. The cold you feel, the endless winter, it is not simply weather. It is a force, a will, and it grows stronger every day." Kaen felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold air around him. "And how do we stop it?" Iera hesitated, her eyes searching his as if weighing whether to trust him. Finally she spoke. "There are secrets buried deep within the glaciers of the Northern Water Tribe. Secrets that speak of a time when fire and ice were not enemies, but allies. If you truly wish to end this, you must learn the ways of water, just as I must learn the ways of fire." Kaen's mind reeled at the thought. A firebender learning waterbending. It seemed impossible, yet the seriousness in Iera's voice told him that this was not a jest. "But how? Fire and water are opposites." "Opposites, yes," Iera agreed, "but also complements. Together they create steam, a force of nature that is both powerful and transformative. If we can unite our strengths, perhaps we can find a way to quell the storm that rages across the world." Kaen felt a flicker of hope, but it was quickly overshadowed by doubt. Could he really learn to master water, an element so foreign to his very nature? But as he looked into Iera's determined eyes, he realized that he had no choice. The world was depending on him, on them. "I will go with you," Kaen said at last, his voice filled with resolve. "Together we will find the answers we seek." Iera nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her lips. "Good. But be warned, Kaen. The path ahead is fraught with danger, and not all of it will come from the cold." As the two set off together into the night, Kaen couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The dark figure that had haunted his steps before seemed closer than ever, lurking just beyond the edge of his vision. He didn't know who or what it was, but he knew one thing for certain. This journey would test him in ways he had never imagined. And so, with the weight of the world on his shoulders and the promise of new knowledge on the horizon, Kaen continued forward, unaware of the true extent of the darkness that awaited him.